iPad and pencil as a whiteboard because I'm often trying to explain funnels to people when I'm doing social media mentoring on Zoom, and I find myself creating sort of weird little things with my hands and writing in the air, and then I thought, I own an iPad. I have an iPad with a pencil. And so I started thinking about apps and what I could do. So anyway, I just said, if you are watching this and you have a social media question, hashtag Q&A, please ask in the comments, and I curate all the comments. So this is going live to Facebooks twice, 2 areas of Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Don't know why I decided to click the Twitches on. Probably because I don't have any followers on there and I can just muck around. And if you haven't come across me before, my name's Laurel Papworth and I'm Silk Charm Online. And I use these sessions, they're called Testing 1, 2, 3, because I can practice my live streaming and set up tech and play with tech while doing a sort of an edu-social kind of a bit of a broadcast. So we're going to look at social media marketing funnels today, and I get to check all my other bits and bobs, my mics and preamps and vision switches. So if I switch to this one, let's see if it works. Yes. Thank you, Gary on YouTube, for saying that it sounds good. It's my new mic, so I'm very excited with it. Except I'm not too sure, there's a silver clip here that's not the best, but anyway. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch to the iPad. I have to press some buttons. I like buttons. We press that one and we press on there. Oh, and I look like I've sunk off the edge of the page, which I'm not sure that's what should be happening. I've discovered that OBS is not always fantastic with holding positions, although to be honest, this could also just be the vision switcher. All right, that'll do. You don't need to see me, do you? You know what I look like. And we got rid of the half-dead plant that's behind me, so that's all good anyway. So with funnels, what I tend to do is, and because somebody's going to ask, I know somebody is going to ask, the software I'm using is just Notepad on the iPad. Just move back to chat. I'll move back to that one. There we go. All right, so the funnel. The first thing to think about with social media marketing funnels, and it doesn't matter what it is that you're promoting. So for instance, if you're promoting you could be promoting a game, you could be promoting a hairdresser or an accountant, or you could be doing really anything else where you need to bring people in. A funnel is not just broadcasting out lots of information, for instance, for brand awareness so people know who you are, but there's no call to action or they don't have to do anything. A funnel is about driving people into your website or into your email newsletter list or something else. So what we do with a funnel is we do this. It's working. I'm so excited. Except that it disappeared. Why did it disappear? So it goes like that. Oh, I see. That's the eraser. I actually tested this for at least an hour this morning, but it doesn't seem to want to hold it. Does anybody know what I'm doing wrong? Oh, I know. Maybe it's the color. Do you think it's the color? very odd. I'm not, I mean, one of the reasons I do these live is because it's an excuse for me to test things. So we've got handwriting, we've got the pen. There should be a color button here. Let me get rid of that and then do this again. Highlighter, no, we want pen. And then we want it to be color. And we want, let's choose black. Let's choose blue. And then do that. Yay, I got it to work. How good is that? And you got to see the top of my head for a full 5 minutes. Sorry about that. So when your funnel's like this, what you're doing here is you have the general public. And typically on social media, you need to warm a funnel before you have an ask. So it's not like traditional media where the ad is surrounded by content, it's surrounded by articles, it's surrounded by, you know, a TV show that people actually want to watch, and then there's an ad. Or magazine articles that people actually want to read, and then there's an ad. Or also on traditional media, there's newspapers. So there's newspaper articles that people want to glance through, and then there's an ad. So the ad is coming in from outside and there's already content there. With social media, you're responsible for both the compelling content and the ad. So what we do is we have here public and we want content. And also to remember, my handwriting is even worse on the iPad than it is in real life, which is a bit of a problem, I think. I should have been a doctor just for the writing. So we've got the general publics here, we have content, and we have cold leads. So a cold lead is somebody who's never heard of you and never met you, doesn't know your products, has never heard of your game, has never heard of your deodorant, has never heard of your vegan home delivery service or whatever. And so it's hardly even registering with them who you are. So we have the general public, we have content, we have cold leads. So what we do here is we put out lots of, on social media, good quality content. So if you do have a vegan home delivery service, then you put out lots of articles about the benefits of being a vegan and the benefits to the environment and the benefits to the animals and things like that. Once they've started reading here, and so they become subscribers. Actually, the subs should be here. They're no longer cold leads. You're not having that first shaking hands or elbows that you may have had when you first met people. Hi, my name's Laurel Papworth. I'm so pleased to meet you. That kind of initial interaction, I guess. So once we are past public content and cold leads, once they've been engaging with your content on social media, so they've liked your Facebook page, they've connected to you on LinkedIn, they're following you on Twitter, that kind of thing, they're a subscriber. Now they're in the second phase of the funnel. You always have to warm the funnel. It is really difficult. Actually, it's not impossible, but it's a higher dollar spend to come in immediately with the ask in ads. Hi, you don't know me. Buy my social media mentoring. Kind of doesn't work. It can work, and I've absolutely spent a small amount of money and had it work, but it works so much better when they know you. So you get your awareness and your familiarity here. So we'll put here awareness. And if the boss asks you for ROI of marketing dollar spend, or what else can they ask you? Just return on investment. Why should we spend money on social media, or why should I hire you to put out great content on social media? You can talk about warming the funnel. Once they're subscribers, what we're going to do now is we're going to narrow the funnel. because we need to get to the point where these are the people that become customers. So the funnel journey is from lead to customer. So the subscribers now, they can have two roles, and one is they can be, I'm just going to put here ambassador, not influencer, just ambassador. They like your content. When they engage with your content by giving it a love heart or commenting on it or sharing it or just anything really that the algorithm can pay attention to, then they become ambassadors, engagers, and they may connect you to a customer. So they should never be diminished. I often see, let's just go back to this one for a moment. I've seen not-for-profits say things like, don't share this post if you're not going to donate money. And I find that such a shame, because often people can't afford to donate, but they want to support, so they share the post. And sometimes they're sharing it to people who can donate. So in a sense, they're the media. They're your PR channel. They're your journalist and editor. They're your whatever, because they're picking up the social object, the information, and then passing it on to their network, which is always a good thing. What do you think of this Apple whiteboard thing? I don't know. At least I don't have to stand up and shift cameras around and go and have a chat on the in front of a physical whiteboard, but we could do that one day. So anyway, number one is ambassadors. And then the second thing with subscribers is they're warm. So if they're an email subscriber, one of the things that you can do on social media is upload your email subscriber database into, for instance, Facebook. And then because you know they're a warm audience, they already know you, love you, they look forward to your emails or whatever, you can now, for instance, do an ad that has a colder call to action. There's a difference between an ad, a buying attention, to say, one of the things that I sometimes do is I boost great content. So if I've got a video that's doing really well on socials and it's just a little tutorial, I will boost it to more people. It doesn't have an ask. It just says, here's a video tutorial for you. And I do that because I'm warming cold leads. People who've never heard of me before can watch the video, watch my tutorial, and then go, awesome, or not. And with colder leads, I don't want to go straight to a call to action. However, when people have signed up for my email newsletter, so they're warm, I upload that email newsletter list into the ad platform, and then I can send them a cooler ad, like, I don't know. I don't like to reference the fact that they've done things with me. I think it's poor form, especially if you've tagged them in the email databases. Oh, I don't know. They signed up off the back of doing a short course with me. I don't want to say, did you enjoy the short course? Come and do more with me, because it just feels a little bit stalkery. And that is an issue with cold or warm leads, is there's so much tracking today, but it's not, I don't know. I feel like we should be more transparent and people should know how their information is being used, but I also don't want to be the person at the pointy end of the stick when they start to realize what's going on. One of the reasons I teach this is so that people will know. Anyway, so we started off with cold leads. We've put up great content, and then they've liked us, they've joined our email list, or we've had some kind of a CTA. Whoopsie. How do I do this? CTA is a call to action. So we've had some kind of a call to action to like us on Facebook or join our email subscriber list. And in fact, what we might be doing is, because we're building distribution channels Distribution channels are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then we want owned channels, which is email and things like that. An online course email list, or a straight out email list, or something like that. So these are two different. So I would actually put distribution in the first part of the funnel, and then I would have owned in the second. And then we get to the ask. We've already done one ask. We've asked them to trust us. Trust is the first one. And like us, subscribe to us. The second one, which is deeper trust, is to give me your email address. There's a psychological barrier. And so if you're narrowing a funnel, there'll be more people that will follow you on socials than will give you their email address, especially straight up. So I want to have their email address here. So I want them to become subscribers in number 1. And then I want them to give me an email address in number 2. You have to trade for email addresses. There's a bit of a joke on social that if you don't know how to get engagement and how to warm the funnel, just run a competition. And partly it works. It doesn't work with all psychographics and all target audiences, but it will work with quite a few. So and that's another thing though, is once you move into an ask, which could be more than an email address. So often with competitions, they have to say what suburb they're in, that sort of thing. With lead ads, if you're running lead generation ads, and I'm running a webinar tomorrow with the Australian Marketing Institute on lead generation ads for $5 a day. Doing that tomorrow, about this time. But if you're running lead ads, then you've probably got more of an ask. You're going to ask them 3 to 5 questions. Name, address. You might ask them what suburb they're in if you're looking to send or to allocate them to account managers, or you want to see which ad is working better and you're doing A/B testing. I'll just move back to this one for a second. If you're doing A/B testing, there can be challenges in tracking that. So often with maybe lead generation ads, you're going to ask them 3 or 4 questions. And the more questions that you have, and the more personal questions that you have, the warmer the funnel has to be. People won't hand over their birth date, credit card details, until the funnel's been warmed, which is why it's a funnel, I guess. Anyway, let me go back to this one. Not that one. This one. Nope, this one. There we go. That'll do. What did I do with that one? Oh, I know. See, this is why I practice on you guys before I go and do my live webinars. We'll get there. I am getting better at these. Okay, maybe not, but that's beside the point. Okay, so it's really messy, isn't it? It's funny. So now, depending on your psychographic, and it's super important to forget your product, to forget your services, to forget the verticals of how you've set everything up. I want, bundles and things like that. I want you to think about the customer. So one thing that businesses do is they ask for $1 to warm the funnel, and then they ask for a $10 ask, and then they get to the $1,000 ask. And there's things called upsells, downsells, and cross-sells. So in a funnel, you're usually going to reference these things, even if you're just writing a strategy document and you want to say something like, we won't be using downsells, or we won't be using coupons, or we will, or whatever. But the dollar ask is, there's pros and cons for this one. Actually, I will go back to the other one because I think it's important just for us to talk for a moment. If you ask people for $1, something happens. They psychologically have to shift from receiving passively information, marketing information, edu-social, inter-social, whatever it is, entertainment and education, whatever it is, they have to shift from passively being there to a call to action, which means they have to take an action, which means they have to go and dig out their credit card. They have to think, do I want to give this mob money? And sometimes with a $1 spend, I've had customers say, I can't be bothered doing this for $1. And so you may want to play, because what you're basically doing is gating the funnel. Your shift is like sheep. I'm a farm girl. You want to gate the community through the sheep gates. And the ones that don't want to go to the next step, you have to figure out why, what's not converting them. Now, I'm always going to assume that the funnel's going to narrow. It just has to. It's just a part of, I guess, what a funnel is. But don't ask for a dollar unless you're working with that bargain basement psychographic, the coupon community, solopreneurs, you know, the side hustle crowd that like to pay $40 for a lifetime deal, or they like to pay $1 or $5 or $10 for something that may or may not answer their questions. But if you feel like it's worth something, then put $1 on it. And, you know, it could be an ebook or it could be a downloadable something. The free, filling up your email database with free content, I'm not keen on, because I think that it diminishes your brand to a certain extent. Look, if people are going to sign up for an email newsletter that's just going to go in their junk folder because they never opened it, and the email algorithm thought, well, if, you know, you've only got a 20% opening rate, what's the point? I'll just put it in everybody's junk mail folder. You're damaging your email newsletter, unless it's the psychographic that likes email, in which case go for it. It's fine. But for me, if I'm putting out great content on social that's shareable and engageable, then I'm not going to duplicate that on email. So if I'm going to get their email address, I usually want to see the first stage of the conversion of the funnel. So I want to see that narrowing of the funnel. And, you know, it's that worked that time. I'm as surprised as you are. So the ask here is for more than an email address. It could be for $1 or $10 or $100 or something. It probably isn't your premium product. Do I need a pop filter? We'll see how the p's go. I just want to say, if you're listening on LinkedIn, for some reason or the other, my curation tool that's bringing in all of my social media questions and everything on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, I don't think the LinkedIn API is working. So my apologies, and I will check your comments later and answer them. And I don't know about Twitch. It's the first time I've done Twitch. Second time. I think I did it accidentally yesterday. All right. So as you're warming the funnel, you're getting to the bigger and bigger asks. And once you're asking the customers for the more premium product, presumably they've already converted from a lead to a customer at some point. Now, I want to talk about some exceptions, because I think there is a tendency for marketing experts, social media strategists. We all do this. We give the general, mostly this works answer. So, you know, one of those is use images and videos, because mostly that works, except when it doesn't, which is with the engineering and the tech crowd and the writer crowd and the wordsmith crowd and a few others who like long form or dot points or something else. So I do want to make an exception on funnels. So as an example, I don't use funnels. Not in this kind of narrowing aspect where I start them off and then I upsell them at the end of the shopping cart experience. Thank you for purchasing this. For $10 for the next 15 minutes, you can have a $50 product. Add it to your shopping cart now, all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. One of the reasons I don't do that is because the majority of my clients are the central finance office for a government department. And so I have to write a proposal, and I write my options in the proposal based on what we've already discussed, me and the person who's looking to hire me to run courses or do consulting or something else with them. And even then, they will often come back and say, look, I want to choose option B. Can you remove the other options? Because I need to send this document through to the finance office for approval, and they won't like all the different options. So what you're doing with funnels is it's like Lego. You can sometimes funnel people into different directions based on decisions that they're making. So one funnel might be you might offer 2 or 3 ebooks, and they might be how to get more financial services customers, or how to get more beauty industry customers, or how to work with influencers in the manufacturing industry. And then depending which one they take, you've set up multiple funnels, because now you know, they're interested in that, but they're not interested in that. And so you create these intersecting funnels, I guess. It gets quite complicated. I did see somebody boasting that they had a 300-step funnel. I think that's way too much. If your customer has to be manipulated and upsold and drip-fed emails to that extent, your refund level is going to be really high for a start. But I can see why that works for certain things. And that's what I guess I'm saying, is that there's exceptions. So I don't run these kind of funnels very often. And I'm also mindful of the fact that the decision maker, one thing you're doing with funnels is you're emotionally, mentally taking people through all the different options and helping them make decisions at every step. But then it's like, and then they say, let me go and ask mum and dad. So however you've built up the relationship with them through your social media and helpful comments and then helpful emails and building up your content strategy with them, your engagement strategy with them, all of that can go for nix if they have to go and ask someone else for approval. And you have to, and I mean not just the kind of approval where they go to the accountant of the business and say, can you sign this form? I need this. And the guy goes, yeah, sure. I mean where it goes through in the policy making, people look at it and make decisions on it. Other businesses have to have huge funnels, massive funnels. There's some pretty cool software out there, and I do have software to build and demonstrate funnels. That's probably a video for another day because it was really my intention today to just have a play with my Apple Pen and then notes. And what a mess that is. Look at that. I understand it. I'd be absolutely shocked if you did, but there you go. All right. I think that's going to be enough for today. I think this works. So I will use these in my Zooms, have them ready to go. I think I got better at the end of switching backwards and forwards. So yay me. And what do you use for whiteboard technology in your Zooms? I know I could have thrown up a sheet of paper on the other monitor and written on the paper, but I like being able to scribble. And also Do you have an iPad with a pen, and have you used it for this kind of thing? Did it work? And that was the tech part of the session, my test session. And I guess the other one is, do you feel like you understand marketing funnels a little bit more now? I guess the funnel is the building of the relationship to get towards the ask. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you've got a different definition. All right. If you're joining me tomorrow for the Australian Marketing Institute's how to run lead generation ads on $5 a day, I will see you tomorrow. And just because I have to, there's my website, laurelpapworth.com, so that you can contact me if you're interested in anything that I'm doing. Thank you for joining me on the live stream today, and